Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Code to be a Java Programmer. Today is day 26 of our coding journey. In today's session, we'll explore arrays of objects in Java. This is an important concept as it allows us to handle more complex data structures. Let's get started. So today we are going to see about array of objects. So before getting into that, let's again recall the syntax of creating an array. We use the keyword new and then the array size is being declared. Okay, now what if I just give values for two integer places in the array size of 4? What does it happen? I've told you about it already. Okay, I have given values only for first two indices, and for the other two I haven't given. Let's see what happens here. Let us use the enhanced for loop itself for printing the array values. Let me see what it happens. Yes, so the other two values which hasn't been given any other values is defaultly being considered as the value of 0. So this is what happens, and if I give them values, and it would obviously print the values what I have given. So this is. Now what if I need to create an array of name? Okay, so let's see about it. Let's create a student record. Let me create a class of student. Okay, let's create some instance variables. Now these variables are instance variable because they are not inside the method. Okay, so these are known as instance variable. If they are inside method, what they are called as? They are called as local variable. Okay, and let's keep string name and marks. Okay, for now this is enough. Now how do we call this? Now how do we create object for this class student? The class name, the object name. Let's keep the object as stu itself. The object name followed by the new keyword, and then so that's how the object for this class is created. Now how would we give values for these instance variables? So we would call this with the object is equal to, let's keep it as 12, stu dot name is equal to Hamrit. Okay, and then stu dot marks 100. Okay, now what if I need to have another database about another student? What I'll be doing, I'll be creating another object for the same class, and I'll be giving the values for that. Let's see what I'm doing. So here I would change the object name to student stu1, 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 stu1. Okay, and I'm changing the roll numbers. with b and let its score be 99. Let me also create another database about the student. Let this one be stu2. Okay, so that's what we have created. Now, how would we call this? Now, how would we print these values? So, for this, we need to understand how values will be printed. Now, let's say of stu. Okay, so I'm printing system.out.println of stu. That is, I'm printing this object. Let's see what the output will be. Don't forget to control save. Okay, so it's giving some kind of ID, right, when we print the object. But let's say, so if we just ask it to print the object alone, it's giving something else. It's not giving the value of what we have been expecting. So let's print it as a stu.roll. Okay, now let's see what it's gonna print. Yes, it's printing the roll number. Let's see. Let's print the name. Let's concatenate it. Let's print the marks. Now let's see what's the output going to be. That's great. It's giving 100:100. That's so nice. Now, how is it actually working? Now I need to print the same exact format of all the other students. So how it is gonna work? So for that we need to create an array. Only then all these values get stored in an array, and instead of printing using system.out.println each and every time, we can just use a for loop to traverse the array and print all the values what we need. Okay, so let's create the array. So usually for creating the integers array, we use the starting keyword as the data type. Here instead we use the class name, then the array name. Let's keep the array name as school. Obviously, it's the data which school has. So let's keep the array name as school, and we use the new keyword. Let's give some. Let it be as 3. Okay. So let the array size be as 3. Okay, so we have created the array. Now, how are we going to save the values in this array? So, how are we going to store the data about each student in this array? Okay, let's see. For that, what you're supposed to do is you have to give the school, that is the array name, and it's just basically what we have done in the integer array. The array name and the index, followed by you should assign the objects. So here my first index place will be containing the first value, right? So stu is my object here. So I have my stu here. School of index 1 will be having the second stu 1. And the third one is stu 2. Okay. So that's what the value is created. But how are we going to call this in a for loop? Let's print the score of 0, what it's getting us, instead of stu.name accessing it like that. Obviously, it should give the values 2. Okay, it's showing us some error. Let's see what the problem is. Can anyone guess what the error might be? Yes, the error is it's an array and I haven't specified the array. So just be careful with your syntax. Okay, now let's clear this. Now let's see what the output is going to be. Yes, it's the same value of what the object alone gave. So for that, what I'm supposed to do? I should call it here by the name. Right, now let's see what it is. That's great. So in order to traverse the array, let us use the for loop. Let I be 0 and let it be of the colon. Let's keep incrementing it. Okay, so I'm closing it here. Okay, so here school of I, and I'm concatenating it with colon and then school of I. Okay, so in order to have little bit professionalism, let me have your name then marks. Okay, so let's see. I'm very eager to know about the output. That's great. The name followed by the marks of each student. Okay, you know why it is getting printed each time? Because it's inside the for loop. Now let's make it to print outside. Now it must be good. That's great, yeah. Now I have a doubt. Now here, why are we specifying the array length? Though the array is 3 of length 3, what happens if I give the length by mistakenly as 5? What it would happen? Okay, there is no error. So the compilation is successful if I give the length also wrong, but let's see what it happens if I make it to run. It gives an exception, which that is index 3 out of bound for length 3. That is, it's basically an exception. So this kind of error doesn't occur during the compilation time, but whereas during the execution time it arises, this issue. So that's why you need to be clear in the length of your array, and that's why I'm using this length keyword, so that we wouldn't go wrong in things what we do. That's great. So that's all for today. Today what we did, we created an array of objects. So basically how it is done, we created a class called student and we specified certain instance variables. We created certain instance variables, and for those variables we created different objects for the same class, and we assigned certain variables. And in order to print everything, we stored all these variables in an array. It's a student array, and we assigned each values to the student array with the help of the objects what we have created, and we accessed those array with the help of the object dot the instance variable name. So this is how things is done. So that's all for today. That's all for day 26. Today we learned how to create and use arrays of objects in Java. This concept is very powerful as it allows us to manage collections of objects efficiently. Thank you for joining me on day 26 of Let's Code to be a Java Programmer. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about our daily coding sessions. See you tomorrow for day 27. Happy coding!